Welcome, truth seekers, mystery watchers, and guardians of forgotten wisdom. You've just stepped into a realm where ancient prophecy collides with our modern world. Today, we dive into a chilling and powerful warning from the Caddo people, an ancient tale that speaks across generations. This is the prophecy of the flood fish man, a half-human, half-fish being who appeared before a great world-ending flood, and who may rise again as the final age draws near. It's more than myth, it's memory written in water. So if you believe the past still speaks, and that the waters remember more than we do, then stay with us. Watch closely. You're exactly where you need to be. Among the Caddo people, an ancient legend flows like the rivers. It was born from a story of the flood fish man, a being both human and aquatic, who emerged from the depths not to frighten, but to warn. They say he rose before the great waters came, bringing a message of mercy cloaked in mystery. He told the people, "The waters will rise. The land will fall beneath the waves. Flee now, or be swept away." Some listened. They climbed to the high places and lived. Others laughed, and the waters silenced them forever. This wasn't a myth, it was a memory. And now, the earth shifts again. Glaciers bleed into the oceans. The tides crawl higher each season. Cities sink. Skies grow stranger. And deep below, something stirs. Will the flood fish man return? And if he does, what is he warning us of this time? Perhaps he comes not as a monster, but as a messenger once more. Not to terrify, but to test. Will we listen this time? Or vanish again beneath the waves? Long before modern maps, before concrete cities and satellites, there were the Caddo people, descendants of the great mound builders, rooted in the lands we now call East Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. They lived in rhythm with the earth, honoring water as sacred. Rivers were not just resources, they were living veins of spirit, bridges between worlds. Springs whispered secrets. Rain was a blessing from realms beyond. And in their oldest stories, passed from elder to child like fire in the darkness, there is a tale few outsiders know. A time before this world. A time of reckoning. They say a fish man rose from the depths, not a beast, but a guardian. His body shimmered with the memory of the deep. He came not to conquer, but to warn. A flood was coming, a cleansing, a correction, and only those who listened would survive. He was a messenger of the Creator, or of ancient beings older than the stars, a reminder that water, like spirit, gives and takes. Now, in an age of rising seas and forgotten wisdom, we must ask, will the fish man rise again? And if he does, will we still have ears to hear? According to the story, whispered still by tribal elders, he had the shape of a man, but the skin of a fish. His voice echoed like a river tumbling through canyons. He came walking from the water, alone, a figure from the depths, shimmering with scales, sorrow etched into his eyes. Some say his hair flowed like riverweed. Others remember a staff, carved from bone and driftwood, aged by the current. A few insist he didn't walk at all, but moved like a serpent, standing upright, gliding with the river's own will. He spoke plainly. Leave the lowlands. The waters will rise. The earth will wash herself clean. But the people were divided. Some laughed, calling him a spirit of madness, a delusion, a tale to frighten children. Others felt something ancient stir inside, a knowing, and they climbed to the hills, to the sacred mounds. Then the rains came, and they did not stop. The rivers broke their banks, the lakes rose, the plains vanished beneath a vast and sorrowful sea. And those who mocked, their voices were lost in the flood. Only the ones who listened survived. Only they remained to rebuild the world, to remember, to warn us now. But the Caddo story doesn't end with the flood. It ends with a prophecy. When the world again turns deaf to the voice of the earth, when the waters are poisoned and the sky cries black rain, the fish man will return, not to warn, but to mark the end of another age. In Caddo cosmology, time moves not in a straight line, but in cycles. Each age begins in balance and ends in chaos. Harmony gives way to disruption. And the earth, wounded and patient, chooses purification by fire, flood, or darkness. The flood wasn't the first ending. It won't be the last. The fish-man, half human, half water spirit, is not merely a figure of the past. He is a harbinger, a sign, a living echo of the earth's memory. He comes when we no longer listen. When we poison the rivers, silence the forests, darken the sky. His return is not salvation. It is the signal. That time is up. And so the story, told by firelight and passed through generations, becomes more than myth. It becomes a warning. A final ripple before the flood returns. As sea levels rise. As storms swell beyond their seasonal bounds. And as coastal cities brace for impacts once dismissed as fantasy. A forgotten legend begins to echo louder than ever. The story of the fishman, passed down by the Caddo people, is no longer just a myth. It's a mirror, a warning, a prophecy surfacing again in our time of unraveling. He comes, the elders said, when the waters are poisoned and the sky cries black rain. He comes not to warn, but to mark the end of an age. What if the fishman is not just a figure of the past, but a spirit of the earth itself? A sacred manifestation of nature rising to rebalance what humanity has disturbed. We pour waste into rivers. We choke the oceans with plastic. We drill, we spill, we contaminate. And then we wonder why the waters turn against us. The ancient line, when the waters are poisoned, is no longer poetic. It's prophetic. The earth is responding. Tides creep higher. Storms grow angrier. And beneath it all, something deeper stirs, perhaps not just metaphorical. The fishman may be the earth's answer. Not a savior, but a signal. In the legend, the warning was clear. But the people did not listen. They had become deaf, not in the ears, but in the spirit. Deaf to the voice of the earth. Deaf to the wisdom of the elders. Deaf to the signs written in rain, wind, and wave. Sound familiar? Today, we silence indigenous voices. We dismiss prophecy. We laugh at the spiritual. We call nature's fury anomaly and treat wisdom as superstition. But what if these stories, these old songs and fireside tales, were never meant for entertainment? What if they were survival codes, carved into memory to guide us through the turning of ages? The fishman, then, becomes not just a mythic figure, but a spiritual threshold. When he rises, it means we didn't change. The fishman may be part of this ancient archetype, a hybrid entity, half spirit, half flesh, who emerges during great transitions in Earth's timeline. He comes not by accident, but by design. When the balance is broken, when memory fades, when we forget what we once were. And now, with storms rising and voices silenced, with coral reefs dying and glaciers weeping into the sea, the earth asks the same question it asked before. Will you remember the old ways? Will you return to harmony before the flood returns? Because if the fishman rises again, it means the final ripple is near. And after the ripple comes the wave. The earth remembers. So must we. In every age, prophecy whispers. But in our time, the whispers grow louder. Symbols once carved in myth are becoming physical signs. The old ones spoke of the flood fishman, a watcher from the deep, a being who emerges when the waters are poisoned, when humanity has stopped listening. Are we nearing his return? Look around. Rising seas consume the shorelines. Coastal cities battle floods that once seemed impossible. Hurricanes and cyclones come not once in a generation, but every season. Islands vanish beneath the tide. Entire cultures are displaced. Rivers run dry or overflow in rage. And in the oceans, silence. Mass fish die-offs, whales beaching, coral reefs ghost white. The earth's voice, once singing in bird call and dolphin song, is growing still. And stranger things emerge. Sightings of unknown creatures in deep lakes. Humanoid figures glimpsed after storms. Some laugh, others record, but a few listen. Is the fish man already watching? Waiting beneath the waters, waiting for the moment of return? But prophecy is not just warning. It is invitation. It asks us to remember. Respect the waters. They are not resources. They are sacred, alive, capable of cleansing or cleansing away. Listen to the messengers. They may come in strange forms, old myths, wise elders, even dreams. Move to higher ground. Not just physically, but spiritually. Seek truth. Seek humility. Seek balance. And most of all, do not mock the signs. For in mocking them, we mock our own salvation. The flood fish man does not rise to destroy. He rises as a sign that the age is turning. And for those with ears to hear, his coming may be not a curse, but a final grace. A last call to return to harmony before the tide washes all away. To the modern world, a half-man, half-fish being may seem absurd, just another fading myth from a forgotten past. But myths, especially those carried by the voices of the elders, often speak to deeper truths, truths that logic alone cannot touch. The Caddo prophecy of the floodfish man is more than a tale. It is a reflection of rising waters, of spiritual blindness, of a warning long ignored. He came once, the story says, not to punish, but to warn, and those who mocked him were swept away by the very waters they had laughed at. Only the humble, the listening, the watchers on the hills survive to begin again. In our time, the signs echo, seas rising, waters poisoned, creatures dying, and maybe, somewhere in the storm or the flood, his voice still echoes like a river in the canyon. If the fishman returns, it may not be with fanfare, no thunder, no lightning, just silence and a knowing. And those who hear him will climb, not out of fear, but preparation. For the age of forgetting is ending, and the time of remembering has come. The waters will rise. Will we listen? If this journey through ancient waters and future warnings stirred something in you, tell us in the comments below. We want to hear your voice in the echo. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more mysteries, prophecies, and truths the mainstream dares not touch. And if you feel called to help keep these sacred stories alive, hit the super thanks button or drop a donation. Every gift helps us uncover, protect, and share what must not be forgotten. Because these aren't just stories, they're warnings, maps, keys. Until next time, stay curious, stay alert, and always listen to the whispers beneath the waves. The waters are rising. Thanks for watching.